like to call the Senate to order. Senator Hobson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Before we go to item 1 on the supplemental calendar number 2, I thought I would take an opportunity to explain a few things on the budget as we are finalizing this process. There should be some worksheets that will be passed out momentarily. You'll have an opportunity to see what the final action is for 2022. You'll also have an opportunity to see what the percentage difference is between 22 and LBR. And of course, we've been over a lot of these items and talked about them, but the rest of the bills that we didn't take up yesterday, I think we may have taken up 1 or 2 this morning, but those have been brought back to us now. We're going to cover those in just a bit. All of the things I told you yesterday are still the same as far as the pay raise information, the capital expense funds, and we've got if you'll see at the bottom of the worksheet, the numbers for the general fund budget. You'll also see the healthcare expendable fund, EEF, tobacco control, capital expense funds, and BP settlement funds, along with the Gulf Coast restoration funds. And I'll ask Mr. President any questions at this time. I think maybe what I'd like to do is just start rolling through the bills. If not, because I think I've covered most of the ground yesterday, but if there are any to start with, I'll be
Any questions? Any questions? Seeing none,
move to item 1 on the supplemental calendar and have the title read, please.
Item 1. Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
House Bill number 1379, Appropriation Insurance Department of.
I move adoption of the conference report and ask to be recognized to explain.
You're recognized to explain.
Thank you, Mr. President. Final action on the Department of Insurance is $11,792,846 of general funds. This includes the $33,480 for the health insurance increase, $1,602 for contractual increases for ITS payments, $276,000 for restoration of cuts, $580,000 for agency operations, $50,000 out of capital expense funds for smoke alarms and detectors, $104,198 of general funds money for the conference pay plan that we discussed yesterday, for a total of $1,046,119 total increase over LBR funding. I'll yield for questions. If there are none, I move adoption of the conference report.
Questions? Questions? Seeing no questions, Senators move for adoption of the conference report by use of the morning roll call. Anyone object to the procedure? Wish to be recorded as voting no? Present? Seeing none, bill is adopted. Number 2.
Thank you. Ask that we move to that item and have the title read.
Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
House Bill number 1381, Appropriation Legislative Expenses.
I move adoption of the conference report and ask to be recognized to
You're
explain.
recognized to explain, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President. Total funding for the legislative operations this year is $35,559,235, of which $30,809,235 is general funds. This includes the health insurance increase of $87,210, the pay increase $179,003, operating expenses for the Senate of $750,000, $21,750 for funds to purchase new state flags, $6,555 for ITS charges, $30,000 for operating expenses related to redistricting with the reapportionment budget, $100,000 for staffing needs at Pier, also which would be tied into the reapportionment and redistricting, and $4.7 million for computer software project for the Capitol, for a total increase over LBR of $5,874,518. Yield for questions.
Questions on the bill?
If there are none, move adoption of the conference report.
Senators move for adoption of the conference report based on the morning roll call. Anyone object to procedure? Wish to be recorded as voting no? Seeing none, the bill passes. Senator, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Barrett.
Mr. President, to item 2, I'd like to announce a pair.
Please proceed.
If Senator Sojourner were present, she would be a no, and I am an aye.
Okay, there's no roll call vote on that, Senator, so it wouldn't be a pair right now.
Okay.
Until we do a roll call. If you want a roll call, obviously there would be a pair. But right now, it's just simply whether or not anyone objected. Okay, so let's go. Item number 3. Item number 3, Senator, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we go to that item and have the title read.
Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
House Bill number 1384, appropriations, Supreme Court, Court of Appeals, and Trial Judges Services.
I move adoption of the conference report and ask to be recognized to explain.
You're recognized, Senator.
Thank you. The total amount for the Supreme Court services, we've got a few budgets here. Supreme Court services is $7,774,352, of which $6,836,882 is general funds. The trial judge portion of this budget is $30,515,309, of which $26,322,941 is general support. The AOC Administrative Office of Courts budget is $253,564, of which $11,203,352 is general support. And also the CLE budget is $151,593. That's all special funds. Court of Appeals, total funding is $6,081,997, of which $4,493,141 is general funds. Now, we have several budgets several items within this one budget, and we did essentially it was right at a 2% increase across the budgets. It included, of course, the health insurance increases, the contractual agency obligations, restoration of cuts, and the conference pay plan. As I mentioned to you yesterday, the employees within the court system would be entitled to the pay increases under the plan that we've set up. However, this would not include the elected judges. They are not included in that pay increase because they've got a separate statute that deals with their pay increase. There are some other items in the AOC. We included $141,000 for youth court computers around the state. We also put in $50,000 of special fund authority for a process server. We included contractual increases for a computer magic system, $500,000 of general funds for intervention courts. You may remember that includes the mental health and veterans courts. So we've put $500,000 towards funding, and those should work in sync with the drug courts. Also $2.5 million for of funds that were related to the CARES Act distribution. So it's just spending authority from those special funds. And that includes all the items. Mr. President, excuse me one second. I think I left off the Board of Bar Admissions funding is $349,724. That includes, that covers the entire Supreme Court services budget. I'll be happy to yield to questions.
Senator McMahon, for what purpose you seek recognition? All right, he passed. Senator
No
McMahon
questions.
passes.
I move adoption of the conference report by use of the morning roll call.
Senator has moved for use of the morning roll call. Anyone object to the procedure? Anyone wish to record as voting no? Present? Seeing none, use of morning roll call is utilized, and we go to number 4. Senator Bryant, I'm sorry. Pardon me? Not voting, Senator Bryant. Not voting, Senator Bryant. Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, Senator, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask that we move to item 4 on the supplemental calendar and have the title read.
Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
House Bill number 1385, appropriation, Attorney General.
I move that we adopt the conference report and ask to be recognized to explain.
You're recognized to explain, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President. Total amount of funding for the Attorney General's office is $33,750,748, of which $26,728,540 is general funds. This includes increases of $77,220 for health insurance, $191,705 for ITS payments, $554,444 the restoration of cuts, $2,736,865 to replace special fund loss, a special fund that the AG had been drained down over the years, and this supplants those funds. $304,348 for the pay plan, 1.5 for the case management system and a protective order system. That's special funds and it's for contractual, and then 1.3 million for additional funds for salaries within there's no pay raise, but salaries to cover, to make up for those special funds that were removed and had dwindled down earlier. Also included in the budget is, total increase for Attorney General's office is $6,664,582. That's an explanation of the bill. I'll be happy to yield to questions.
Questions on the bill? Questions on the bill?
If there are none, I move adoption of the conference report by use of the morning roll call.
Senators move for adoption of the conference report, utilization of the morning roll call. Anyone object to the procedure? Wish to be recorded as voting no? Present? Seeing none, bill passes. We're on number 5.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask that we go to item 5 and have the title read.
Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
House Bill number 1387, appropriation Education Department,
I move adoption of the conference report and ask that you recognize Senator DeBar to explain.
Senator Barr, you are recognized to explain.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I first want to start out by talking about some of the highlights of the education bill. You know, we had lottery money, we had increased EEF money. The first thing, there's $102 million more dollars in this education bill than last year, which is about a 4% increase, even after restoring all the cuts, which is about 2.5%. This includes a $1,000 teacher pay raise, replacement of health insurance increase the teacher supply fund by $8 million to raise that to $20 million. We increased early learning collaborative funding by $8.2 million, bringing that total to $16 million. We increased math coaches. We now have math coaches. We raised that to $5 million. We established early learning coaches. We put $1 million into that. Work keys. We now dedicated $1 million to that. We established a career and technical education grant fund, $1 million, so schools can buy equipment and things that are needed. The department needed what's called the MSIS, the Mississippi Student Information System. That we appropriated $7.6 million. That will create a system and establish a system where we don't have issues where we undercount teachers and things like that happened in the past. To help pay for the computer science program that we passed this year, along with the $1 million from C-Spire, we took a $3 million technical, or $300,000 technical fund, added $700,000 to that to bring that total to fund the computer science program to $2 million. We fully funded the Carl Perkins VOTEC loan maintenance of effort with 3.1. Created a couple things that aren't on there. If you recall, we had that deficit appropriation for the research and curriculum unit up at Mississippi State. We established a line item for that in the general ed bill of $4.5 million. The other thing, if you look at the total amount of special and general funds, there is an increase of approximately $1.1 billion from last year. That's misleading in the fact that that is federal money. That is federal money from ESSER 1, 2, 3, all added into that special fund. So they've already, that's in there, so it gives the department the authority to use that money and to escalate their PINs. Whereas us giving them more PINs, gives them the escalation authority. Not in this bill, but we passed yesterday, the William Winter, Jack Reed Student Loan Repayment Program. The IHL appropriation bill has $2 million in for that. So very successful session for education. Let me just go through the programs, and I'll yield for any questions at that point in time. But general education, specifically, final action was $2,118,755,635. We restored funding for LBR cuts to the blind school and the blind and deaf. We reappropriated $4.7 million. Pay increases, health increases, ITS increase of $54,000. And so that was the changes made to the general education budget. Let me make clear, because I don't want an issue to pop up this year, there is no funding for the school recognition program. The reason why is because there has to be testing and accountability and results to fund the program. There was no, it's a year behind. And so there was no testing last year, there's no testing this year, so therefore there will not be the program for next year. To make up for that or to help alleviate some of the loss, you can see the teacher pay raise plus the teacher loan, not the teacher loan, the teacher supply fund has increased to $20 million. And so that's going to increase from about $405 to $675 per teacher, for every teacher, if they so choose to use it. And so I just don't want any issues or questions from your educators back home as to why they're not getting the school recognition program. It's because there's no testing done last year or this year, and we tried to make it up in other areas. Moving on to the Chickasaw cessation, and it is $19,576,109. That is per formula by the federal formula. Mississippi Adequate Ed, it is $2,298,941,644. Full funding is $2,500,000,000, and let me see here. You got to remember, we passed the ADA hold harmless bill this year, which increased the full funding amount by about $92 million. So therefore, the MAEP full funding is $2,570,654,801. Like I said, we appropriated $2,298,941,644. Therefore, it's underfunded by $271,713,157. Now, the ADA hold harmless will roll off next year, and so the number of students presumably will go down. Maybe it'll stay the same, we don't know. But if we didn't have the hold harmless this year, the full funding would have decreased by $97 million. And the amount to fully fund it would be about $179 million, which is, I think, about the lowest amount we've seen in the last few years. So steadily, we're trying to increase it to full funding. The schools for the blind and deaf, as you recall, they are not funded this year through general education because they are now their own entity. VOTEC, final action is $98,338,801. As I said, that's restoration of the Carl Perkins maintenance of effort, the pay increase, the health insurance increase, and the $700,000 increase for the computer science program. So I know that was a quick rundown. If there's any questions, I'll yield for them now, Mr. President.
Questions? Senator Turner, forward. For what purpose?
Question.
We yield for a question,
Yes,
Senator.
I do.
Please proceed, Senator Turner, forward.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Do we know what the education community intends to do about schools that are operating on hybrid or virtual schedules?
In relation to what?
The budget. Are there any funds anticipated in the budget that will be designated for remediation?
For remediation?
Yes.
There are many line items in the budget that talk about remediation, whether they be for special needs children or just children that need assistance, but there's no specific dedication of amount for remediation specifically.
And given that we are appropriating funds for the next budget year, have there been any conversations about how our education professionals intend to respond?
I think it's all going to be determined, even though the accountabilities are not going to be scored this year, they're still going to be testing this year. And so once they take that test next month and we get the results back, and then we can go forward at that point.
Thank you.
Senator Hill, for what purpose you seek recognition?
Question,
Will you
please.
yield for a question, Senator?
Yes, I do.
Please proceed, Senator
Thank you,
Hill.
Mr. Chairman. You mentioned early learning coaches, math coaches, and you talked about federal funds. Which funding are those coaches coming from, and do you know if that will be based on grant applications or how that will be handled?
That'll be done through the department. It's funded through state money.
Pardon?
It's funded through state money. It's the lottery money. It's $5 million from the lottery money, the EEF from the lottery, or we kind of just put it in a pot, and basically it's going to be funded through EEF. Each district will, ask the department for a math coach to come to their area, and they'll be employees of the department. Or
So
work for the department.
it'll be somebody basically that doesn't necessarily live in that area that's going to be hired by the department to move from place to place like they have done with the reading coaches in the past?
Well, from my information, the math coaches have done really well. They've helped in different areas. I've not heard the issues or whatever you're
Do
raising.
we have a salary schedule for what they'll be paid
I do
per
not.
person?
I do not.
Okay, I'm just a little concerned about that. Thank
It is a
you.
lot of money, and I appreciate the concern, and
I'm really concerned about that.
if there's something we could do after this gets passed and we move on, I'll definitely look into it with you.
I mean, I guess my concern is, we used to be able to have school without all these extra employees from the Department of Education, and it seems to continue to grow and grow and grow. And, my deal is, if a teacher's trained, pay them what they need and handle it, but
Right. Well, we've got 89, 89 critical shortage teacher areas in the state, and, we're just trying to fill the gaps where we can. I know this may not be perfect in the grand scheme of things. but
I
we're-
understand.
we're
I
just
do
trying to help.
understand. I appreciate your efforts. It's just concerns me as we continue to hire people through the Department of Education. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Hill.
Questions, further questions? Seeing none, Senator, we're ready for your motion.
Move for adoption by the morning roll call.
Senators move for adoption by use of the morning roll call. Anyone object to the procedure? Wish to be recorded as voting no? Present? Seeing none, the bill passes by use of the morning roll call. On number 6, Senator Hobson, you're
As
recognized.
we go to that item, have the title read.
Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
House Bill number 1391, appropriation, reappropriation, DFA, Bureau of Building, fiscal year 21.
Move adoption of the conference report. Ask to be recognized to
You're
explain.
recognized to explain, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is just reappropriating funds that have already been allocated in previous years to building projects within the state. The total amount of the reappropriation is $75,760,272. Yield for questions. If there are none, I move adoption of the conference report.
Questions on the bill? Questions on the bill? Seeing none, Senators move for adoption of use of the morning roll call. Anyone object to the procedure? Wish to be recorded as voting no? Present? Seeing none, the bill passes. We're on number 7, Senator.
Thank you. Ask that we go to that item, have the title read.
Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
House Bill number 1392, appropriation, environmental quality, Department of.
Move adoption of the conference report and ask to be recognized to explain.
Recognized to explain, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is Department of Environmental Quality. Total funding is $269,036,379, of which $10,740,138 is general fund. We included increases for restoring pins and salaries up to the FY21 level. That includes $254,428 in general funds, $5,503,589 of special funds and federal funds federal funds and special funds of $1,138,977. That's the 3% pay plan that we discussed for $325,052. The health insurance increase of $101,790. Agency operations of $250,000. $150,000 for operating expenses. $1 million put into the dam safety fund for emergency dam repair. $1 million also a special fund authority for a settlement through the Attorney General's office for environmental quality, and $258,848 for ITS charges. As an explanation of the conference report, yield for questions. If there are none, I move adoption by use of the morning roll call.
Questions? Questions? Seeing none, Senators move for adoption by use of the morning roll call. Anyone object to the procedure? Wish to be recorded as voting no? Present? Seeing none, the bill passes. Number 8, Senator, you're recognized.
Thank you. Ask that we go to that item, have the title read.
Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
House Bill number 1393, appropriation Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks, Department of.
Move adoption of the conference report and ask to be recognized to
You're
explain.
recognized to explain, Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. The total amount of funding for wildlife, fisheries, and parks is $83,013,033. General funds of $5,990,033. This includes increases for restoring pens and funding the 21 level of $6,768,593. Most of that is special fund authority that's received through federal funding. That was $5,869,789. GIF fund portion is $898,804. The pay plan increase is $358,246. Health insurance is $126,360. ITS charges $12,699. There's a $3.1 million capital expense fund for matching to draw down from federal funds on the purchases of state park land. Not sure if that'll be utilized this year. If not, it'll lapse back into capital expense. But if they can get to that fund and be able to purchase some property, they would be able to utilize that. There's $250,000 of agency operation increases out of general fund and $400,000 for the chronic wasting disease sampling and testing that comes out of capital expense funds. Yield for questions.
Questions on the bill?
If there are none, I move adoption of the conference report by use of the morning roll call.
Senators move for adoption by use of the morning roll call. Anyone object to the procedure? Wish to be recorded as voting no? Present? Seeing none, the bill passes. Number 9, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask you to go to that item, have the title read.
Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
House Bill number 1396, appropriation Public Service Commission.
Move adoption of the conference report and ask that you recognize Senator Turner Ford to explain.
Senator Turner Ford, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The total fund support for the Public Service Commission is $4,048,588. That includes $14,040 for health insurance increase, $333 for MMSR fees increase, $80,339 to restore LBR cuts for salaries, $24,615 to $52 to restore LBR cuts for travel, $100,000 for agency operations, $41,490 for conference compensation plan, for a total amount of $260,854. There's $260,521 in general fund support. The total amount over LBR is $260,854. I will now yield for questions. If there are none, I move for adoption of the conference report based on the morning roll call.
Questions? Questions? Seeing no questions, Senators move for adoption based on the morning roll call. Anyone object to the procedure? Wish to be recorded as voting no? Present? Seeing none, bill passes. Senator, we're ready.
As we move to item 10, have the title read.
Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
House Bill number 1398, appropriation Human Services Department of.
I move adoption of the conference report and ask that you recognize Senator Blackwell to explain.
Senator Blackwell, you're recognized to explain.
DHS.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have the Department of Human Services. The final action is $1,359,179,126. Its final is over LBR by $25,409,000. We are putting $441,000 in health insurance, $2,186,000 in ITS charges, a little over $1 million in conference payment plan, $5 million in purchase a computer system, $2 million in salaries for the ECD education program, and 14,742,000 to restore LBR cuts to salaries and contractual. That's an explanation of the bill.
Questions on the bill?
Move for passage by the use of morning roll call.
Senator has moved for passage by use of the morning roll call. Anyone object to the procedure? We should be recorded as voting no. Present? Seeing none, back on the bill. The number 11, Senator. Senator Hobson, I believe, is next. One moment.
Ask that we go to item 11 on today's supplemental calendar, have the title read.
Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
House Bill number 1399, Appropriation Rehabilitation Services Department of.
I move adoption of the conference report and ask that you recognize Senator Blackwell to explain.
Senator Blackwell, you're recognized to explain.
Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman. This is rehab.
Number 11.
This is the Department of Rehab Services. The final action is 239,244, or I'm sorry, yeah, that's right, 239, a little over 239 million. It's over the LBR by close to $4 million. The final action notes are 266,000 in health insurance, 658 in conference pay plan, 419,000 in OVR counselor pins, 1,788,000 for the OVRB Section 110 waiver match, and 848 to restore LBR cuts to salaries. That's an explanation of the bill.
Yeah. Are there any questions? You have a motion, Senator.
Move for passage by the use of the morning roll call.
Seeing no questions, Senator, request use of morning roll call for final passage. Anyone object to this procedure? Anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Seeing none, please record all present by use of morning roll call as voting aye.
Mr. President, I ask to move to item 12 on today's calendar and have the title read.
Please read the title.
House Bill number 1400, Appropriation Medicaid Division of.
Move adoption of the conference report and ask that you recognize Senator Blackwell to explain.
Senator Blackwell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman. The Division of Medicaid's total budget final action is $6,568,000. Support is $899 million. We're in this bill, we're also funding the Delta Health Alliance at $1 million. We're also funding the Elderly and Disabled Home and Community Waiver, was increased by a little over $1 million for approximately 435 new slots, and the Assisted Living Home and Community-Based Waiver was increased by 800,000 for approximately 238 slots. And this will reduce the waiting list to 0 on the assisted living waiver. That's an explanation of the bill. No questions. I move for passage by use of the morning roll call.
Are there any questions? Seeing no questions, Senator moves use of the morning roll call for final passage. Any objection to this procedure? Does anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Seeing none, please record all present by the use of the morning roll call as voting aye. The bill is passed. Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask that we go to item 13 on the supplemental calendar and have the title read.
Please read the title.
House Bill number 1412, Appropriation Marine Resources Department of.
Senator
Move adoption of the conference report and ask to be recognized to explain.
You're recognized to explain.
Thank you, Mr. President. Total amount of funding for DMR is $93,615,916, of which $1,079,426 is general funds. This includes restoration of pins and funding to the FY21 level of $1,369,920, most of which is special funds. This also includes the 3% conference pay plan, health insurance of $39,960, ITS fees of $8,324, and then the Go Mesa entitlements are included in the DMR bill Total amount of funding for those two projects is $43,111,590, all of which is special funds. The total increase over LBR is $44,655,440. And the projects, you'll remember from this bill last year, kept us here a little bit longer, but the projects that we were allocated for last year are now appropriated in the bill. And there's a provision that we followed for last year where we left a certain amount of money in for the DMR to take care of in the event that there are any projects that happen before we come back into session next year. That's an explanation of the bill, our conference report. I'll be happy to yield to questions. If there are none, I move adoption by use of the morning roll call.
Seeing no questions, the Senator requests use of morning roll call for final passage. Does anyone object to this procedure? Does anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Seeing none, please record all present by use of morning roll calls voting aye. Conference report's adopted. Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we move to item 14 on the calendar and have the title read.
Please read the title.
House Bill number 1413, appropriation, Transportation Department.
I move adoption of the conference report and ask you to recognize Senator Branning to explain.
Senator Branning, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Department of Transportation budget, the final action here is $1,159,195,578. And I've actually had distributed the worksheet. I know we don't typically do that, but I want you to be able to follow along. It's to me a little bit easier than to go through the bill and try to figure out what we're doing. Of that amount, $558,938,459 are federal funds, and the state special fund, $600,257,119 are those totals there. In this budget, you'll see that we restored the LBR cuts, and the 3% conference pay plan is included along with the health insurance. And if you go down a little further on the worksheet, you will see the breakdown of those categories. Administration, other expenses, $60,613,653. Construction, $755,273,613. The maintenance, $211,244,935. Debt service is $78,782,972. The law enforcement, $16,210,546, and the aeronautics and rails, $37,069,859. Now, I want to bring to your attention a little further down in the sheet some of the projects that we have added. The House wanted to be sure their members were able to select some projects throughout their communities, and I've attempted to do the same here. This is my first year to handle this budget, so I appreciate your patience, but the way I approach this, the chairman and I talked about it, we wanted to be as fair as absolutely possible. We took the 3 transportation districts among the state. We had $15 million on this side to work with, and we distributed $5 million among each transportation district. So I don't think we got to every person in this body, but I came very, very close. So I thank you all for being patient with me, but you will see a list of the projects that I know are very important to all of you in this body listed toward the bottom of the second page and on to the third page there. I did find that I made a mistake on, in one section I had a county wrong. That was just a technical error. If you see any errors in any of your information on spelling of road names or anything like that, please bring that to my attention. I put this together as well as I could with the time that I had. Thank you for your being patient with me. With that said, I am happy to do my best to answer your questions on this budget.
Questions? No questions, Senator. Request to use the morning roll call. Oh, we do have a question. Senator Samson Jackson, you have a question? You recognize, you yield Senator Jackson.
I do, yes.
You recognize Senator Jackson.
Madam Chairman, you say this is state and federal money?
Yes, sir, Senator Jackson. This budget is a special fund agency, but it's comprised of both federal and state funds, special funds that we receive.
Okay, so where did the federal money come from?
The federal monies are a result of the federal fuel tax that comes to our state.
Federal fuel tax?
Yes, sir. And there is a formula that's used. I don't have that right now. Be glad to get a little more information for you on that if you'd like it.
Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Seeing no questions, you made to use.
I move final passage on the morning roll call.
Senator requests to use the morning roll call for final passage. Anyone object to this procedure? Does anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Seeing none, please, I'm sorry. Senator McMahon is present. Please record all others as voting aye. Bill, the conference report's adopted. Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we go to item
15.
15 on the calendar and have the title read.
Please read the title.
House Bill number 1414, appropriation additional for various state agencies for fiscal year 2021.
Senator Hobson.
Thank you. Mr. President, I move we adopt the committee report and ask to be recognized, conference report and ask to be recognized to explain.
You're recognized to explain.
Thank you, Mr. President. We passed, stood here yesterday, I said, I think we passed the deficit 5 times. Well, here it comes for the 6th time. Had a couple of numerical errors in the plan, and you'll see there should be a proposed amendment that was included.
It included a conference report. You can't amend it.
Thank you, Mr. President. If I may, this bill was actually recommitted. We're going to use the Senate bill instead of the House bill for the deficit appropriation because we did have that vehicle live. It's the same thing with the changes that I will discuss later with you. But at this time, I don't think it's not actually before the body. So, Mr. President, I think we can skip item 15 if that's procedurally correct and move to item 16 on today's calendar.
We'll pass that item, go to item 16. Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. So we go to item 16 on today's calendar and have the title read.
Please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2904, appropriation IHL general support.
Senator Hobson.
I move adoption of the conference report and ask to be recognized to explain.
You're recognized to explain.
Thank you, Mr. President. Total amount of funding for IHL general support remains support bill for institutions of higher learning, and it is $1,304,309,569, of which $306,095,961 is general funds. A lot of things in this bill. They include restoration of cuts, $606,409,354. The pay raise that I mentioned to you yesterday is $7,756,402. The health insurance increase is $2,466,720. ITS charges of $141,872. We have special fund restoration of cuts for vacancies and subsidies and commodities, a total of $38,090,198. Increases in operational expenditures through general funds of $1,316,421. EEF, additional EEF funds of $3,517,966. We also include, and again this year have included capital expense funds for repair and renovation of many of our buildings on our college campuses for a total of $13,239,631. And we've had an increase of the AIRS funding of $1,137,173 for some specific projects at each of the 3 HBCUs for projects that were not completed many years ago. And finally, a computer charge of magic of $4,302. Total increase of special fund, general fund, and capital expense funds altogether at $74,080,039. Yield for questions if there are any. If
Are
not,
there
I
any
move
questions?
adoption of the conference report.
Move adoption of the conference
Use of the morning roll call.
by use of the morning roll call. Any objection to this procedure? Anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Seeing none, please record all present by use of the morning roll call as voting aye. Conference report's adopted. Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we go, excuse me, go to item 17 on the supplemental calendar and have the title read.
Please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2905, appropriation IHL subsidiary programs.
Senator Hobson.
Move adoption of the conference report and ask that you recognize Senator Parks to explain.
Senator Parks, you're recognized to explain the conference report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If we look at this new budget, we look at a total of $80,800,489. That is $334,585,035 million going into the general fund budget. If we look at how that breaks down, we have 1 million operational expenditures, restoring LBR cuts 825, restoring LBR cuts for 480,594, restoring LBR cuts 203,371, that giving a pay increase, conference pay of 351,914, and then health insurance 129,870, giving it a total increase above LBR $2,990,964. If no questions, I'd ask to move for adoption of the conference report on the morning roll call.
Does any senator have a question? Seeing no questions, senator moves by use of passage by use of morning roll call. Any objection to this procedure? Anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Seeing none, please record all present by use of the morning roll call as voting aye. Conference report is adopted.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we go to item 18 on the calendar and have the title read.
Please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2906, appropriation IHL Alcorn State Agricultural Research Extension and Land Grant Programs.
Senator Hobson.
Move adoption of the conference report and ask that you recognize Senator Parks to explain.
Senator Parks, you're recognized to explain the conference report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the agricultural research extension, we have a new total of $6,430,495 with a general budget of $6,313,173. We have 154,717 restoring LBR cuts, 49,000 pay increase for conference pay plan, 22,680,000 health insurance, 50,000 expenditures, 50,000 operational expenditures for a total funding above LBR $377,299 to the general fund. If no questions, I'd ask for adoption of the report
Okay, are there any
on the morning roll
questions?
call.
Seeing no questions, senator requests to use the morning roll call for final passage. Anyone object to this procedure? Anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Seeing none, please record all present by the use of the morning roll call as voting aye. Conference report is adopted. Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we go to item 19 on today's calendar, supplemental calendar, and have the title read.
Please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2907, appropriation IHL Mississippi State University Agriculture and Forest Experiment Station.
Senator Hobson.
Move adoption of the conference report and ask you recognize Senator Parks to explain.
Senator Parks, you're recognized to explain the conference report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Looking at the total budget, $32,096,158, with a general fund of $21,740,924, being the new general fund, with the 535 being restored of LBR cuts, 214,727 pay increase for conference, 75,330 health insurance, and then 150 for operational expenditures, giving a total increase over LBR $995,057. If there are no questions, I'd move for adoption of the conference report on the morning roll call.
Does any senator have a question? Seeing none, the senator to use this morning roll call for final passage. Anyone object to this procedure? Anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Seeing none, record all present by use of the morning roll call as voting aye. Conference reports adopted.
Any on today's supplemental calendar and have the title read.
Please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2908, appropriation IHL Mississippi State University Cooperative Extension Service.
Move adoption of the conference report and ask you recognize Senator Parks to explain.
Senator Parks, you're recognized to explain.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If we look at the total for the extension service, we look at $44,044,322. For a new general fund, $29,796,866. Breaking down to $730,356, restoring LBR cuts. Conference increased pay, $392,754. $139,860 health insurance, $170,000 operational expenditures, making a new total increase above LBR, $1,432,970. If there are no questions, I would move for adoption of the conference report on the morning roll call.
Does any senator have a question? Seeing no questions, Senator, you're requested to use the morning roll call for final passage. Anyone object to this procedure? Anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Please record all present by the use of the morning roll call as voting aye.
Thank you, Mr.
Conference
President.
reports adopted. Senator Hobson,
I ask that we go to item 21 on today's supplemental calendar and have the title read.
please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2909, appropriation IHL Mississippi State University Forest and Wildlife Research Center.
Move adoption of the conference report and ask to be recognized to explain, or ask that you recognize Senator Parks to explain, excuse me.
Senator Parks, you're recognized to explain the conference report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Looking at the Forest and Wildlife Research Center, we have a total budget of $6,765,974, with a general fund of $5,501,910, breaking down to restoring LBR cuts of $134,000, pay increase of $54,485, health insurance $18,360, with $150,000 operational expenditures, giving us a total increase above LBR $356,845. If there are no questions, I would ask for adoption of the conference report on the morning roll call.
Are there any questions? Seeing no questions, then request use the morning roll call for final passage. Anyone object to this procedure? Anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Seeing none, please record all present by use of morning roll call voting aye. The conference report's adopted. Senator Hobson,
Thank you, Mr. President. Ask that we go to item 22 on the supplemental calendar and have the title read.
please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2910, appropriation IHL Mississippi State University Veterinary Medicine College of.
Senator Hobson.
Move adoption of the conference report and ask you recognize Senator Parks to explain.
Senator Parks, you're recognized to explain the conference report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. College of Veterinary and Medicine, we're looking at a new total of $49,087,446, with a new general total of $17,431,477. With expenditures, restoring LBR cuts of $423,000, salary increases $358,965, health insurance $131,220, with operational expenditures of $120,000, giving a total funding above LBR $1,033,185. If there are no questions, I move for adoption of the conference report on the morning roll call.
Are there any questions? Seeing no questions, the senator moves to use the morning roll call for final passage. Anyone object to this procedure? Anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Seeing none, please record all present by the use of the morning roll call as voting aye. Conference report's adopted. Senator Hobson.
I ask that we go to item 22 on today's supplemental, 23 on the calendar and have the title read.
Please read it.
Senate Bill number 2911, appropriation IHL Student Financial Aid.
Senator Hobson.
Adoption of the conference report and ask to be recognized to explain.
Recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Financial aid is a total funding of $50,443,000. General funds are $47,107,957. This includes an additional $5 million of general funds for scholarships and grants. $2 million for the Winter Reed Scholarship Program that Senator DeBar discussed earlier. And that comes out of EEF, Educational Enhancement Fund. $20,939 for general fund pay increase pursuant to the conference pay plan, and health insurance increase of $1,890 for a total increase of $7,022,829 over LBR. Yield for questions. If there are none, I move adoption of the conference report.
Are there any questions?
Use the morning roll call.
Seeing no questions, Senator request to use the morning roll call for final passage. Anyone object to this procedure? Anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Seeing none, please record all present by use of the morning roll call as voting aye. The conference report is adopted. Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask we go to item 24 on today's supplemental calendar and have the title read.
Please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2912, appropriation IHL, University of Mississippi Medical Center.
Senator Hobson.
I move adoption of the conference report and ask that you recognize Senator Parks to explain.
Senator Parks. Senator Parks, you're recognized to explain the conference report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Looking at the University of Mississippi Medical Center, if we look at their total new budget line, $1,822,630,316, with a total general fund of $160,924,339. Restoring LBR cuts of $3,475,407. Health insurance, $2,529,900. Increasing the Mind Center by $50,000. Increasing the Cancer Center by $750,000. 3.681530 for Aslam Hill project. $1,260,369 for campus repairs and renovation. Restoring LBR cuts, $67,195,989. $100 million spending authority due to increase in grants, expansion, pediatric, outpatient, and COVID funding, giving a new total of $178,943,195 for total increase above LBR. I'm happy to answer any questions. If no questions, I'd move for adoption on the conference report of the morning roll call.
Are there any questions? Seeing no questions, under request to use the morning roll call for final passage. Does anyone object to this procedure? Does anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Seeing none, please record all present by use of the morning roll call as voting aye. The conference report is adopted. Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we go to item 25 on supplemental calendar and have the title read.
Please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2913, appropriation community and junior colleges board administrative expenses.
Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move adoption of the conference report and ask to be recognized to explain.
You're recognized to explain.
Thank you. This is the board portion of the community college budget. The funding, total funding is $127,372,096. $5,979,750 of that is general funds. This budget includes restoration of the LBR cut of $147,815. The pay increase that we've discussed is $50,000. Health insurance increase of $14,040. ITS general funds of $3,128 and special funds of $66. We added $100,000 of EEF money for operational expenses and $8,254 of special funds for computer services. That's an explanation of the conference report. I'll yield for questions. If there are none, I move adoption by using the morning roll call.
Are there any questions? Seeing no questions, send a request to use the morning roll call for final passage. Anyone object to this procedure? Does anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Seeing none, please record all present by the use of the morning roll call as voting aye. The conference report is adopted. Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ask that we go to item 26 on the calendar and have the title read.
Please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2914, appropriation community and junior colleges board, support for community and junior colleges.
Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask that we move adoption of the conference report and ask to be recognized to explain.
You're recognized to explain.
Thank you. The total amount of funding for community college support is $652,926,998, which includes general funds of $191,641,997. We restored general fund cuts from community and junior colleges of $4,669,700. a pay increase of $3,250,000 out of general fund, health insurance increase, $1,587,060. $5 million of EEF money went to a career and tech advantage program for our community colleges, $500,000 in general funds and $500,000 of EEF for operational expenses. We did $8 million. I mentioned the IHL a while ago. We did almost $14 million of R&R rehab and repair work for our IHL. We did $8 million for construction and repair and renovation projects at our community colleges. And that's an explanation of the changes in the bill. I yield for questions. If there are none, I move adoption by use of the morning roll call.
The senior senator have a question. Seeing no questions, Senator Hobson requests to use the morning roll call for final passage. Anyone object to this procedure? Anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Seeing none, please record all present by the use of the morning roll call as voting aye. Conference report's adopted. Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask that we go to item 27 on the supplemental calendar and have the title read.
Please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2915, Appropriation Corrections Department.
I move adoption of the conference report and ask you to recognize Senator Wiggins to explain.
Senator Wiggins, you recognize to explain the conference report.
Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman. The total amount, final action is $353,597,358. We restored PINs and associated funding to FY21 level. We already we increased the salaries for correctional officers, and also we added an additional correctional officer. We adjusted the salaries and covered the health insurance. There was also ITS fees to cover that. We also included a $1.26 per inmate raise for the regional jails and provided for the Walnut Grove transition. And at the request of the Department of Corrections, we gave additional authority for the inmate welfare fund. They're going to be able to use that for a number of the operations. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions? No questions. Motion.
Move adoption on the morning roll call, Mr. President.
Oh, I'm sorry, Senator, we do have a question. Senator Jackson, do you have a question?
Yes, sir.
Do you yield Senator Sampson Jackson? Senator
Yes, I
Jackson?
yield.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You did say you all added some money for the regional jail.
Yes,
How much was it?
an extra $1.26 per inmate.
Thank you, sir, so much.
Yes.
Okay, any further questions? Seeing no other questions, Senator requests to use the morning roll call for final passage. Anyone object to this procedure? Does anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Seeing none, please record all present by the use of the morning roll call as voting aye. The conference report's adopted. Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask that we go to item 28 on the supplemental calendar and have the title read.
Please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2916, Appropriation Public Safety Department.
Move adoption of the conference report and ask to be recognized to explain.
You're recognized to explain.
Thank you, Mr. President. Total monetary action on DPS is $234,176,099. Of that, general funds are $107,455,881. A lot of things going on with DPS this year, including, of course, the Capitol Police moving over to DPS. Also, the DOT enforcement has moved over to Department of Public Safety. In addition, we had $324,001 used for the health insurance increase, $2,832,123 for ITS payments, $1,158,291 for pay increases for the Department of Public Safety and the troopers, $242,603 of general funds for 3 analyst positions that we set up in the School Safety Act a couple of years ago that had not been funded. We used $44,873 of capital expense funds for the equipment associated with the School Safety Act. We added the death investigators, 6 of the death investigators the commissioner asked for at $480,499. We included equipment, and we used capital expense funds for that equipment, $10,200 for the death investigators, $200,000 of general support staff for salaries, We had $3,209,604 for Trooper Class 65. That's the new Trooper class, and we're going to set up their salaries for this year. So that's an additional expense. All the general funds. And we have $1,379,952 for general funds for the driver's license employees. And most of you know we've discussed that at length over the last 2 years. So we've got new pins for those personnel, $1.5 million of general funds for the this contractual cloud-based storage for DPS. We had $100,000 of capital expense funds put in for bulletproof vests that sheriffs' offices and police chiefs can use. $3,789,542 of restoration of cuts. Out of general funds, $2,259,576 of federal fund restoration of LBR cuts. Other funds, $3,602,733 of restoration. The transfer to capital, from Capitol Police to DPS was $6,400,200. Of course, we reduced the DFA budget by that amount. We have $100,000 of other funds for that transfer. Mentioned health insurance increase, that's $31,860 of general funds. Out of the Capitol Police, $100,155 for the pay plan. $15,902,414 that's being transferred in other funds from MDOT to DPS for the enforcement employees and equipment. $63,180 of other special funds for insurance with those personnel. $244,952 for the conference pay plan for that group of personnel, and $500,000 increase in general fund operations. So a total increase in DPS is $45,976,758. Yield for questions. If there are none, I move adoption of the conference report by use of the morning roll, or use of the morning roll call.
Does any senator have a question? Seeing none, the senator moves use the morning roll call for final passage. Anyone object to this procedure? Anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Seeing none, please record all present by use of morning roll call as voting aye. Conference report's adopted. Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask we go to item 29 on today's calendar and have the title read.
Please read the title.
I move adoption of the conference report and ask to be recognized to explain.
You're recognized to explain.
Thank you, Mr. President. Military Department budget is $160,896,690. General fund support is $7,997,192. Had a lot of additions to the military department as well. Excuse me. We provided the health insurance increases of $9,200. The pay plan increases $32,048. $34 for ITS charges, $80,000 for the educational assistance program, $120,000 for operations within the military department, $3,653 restoration of contractual cuts, and subsidy cuts of $193,898. Also, we included $800,000 of capital expense funds for maintenance and repair requirements. They've got some armories and military sites that they needed repaired. We included that $800,000. We included some other restoration cuts and pay plans, conference pay plan increases of federal funds as well, and special funds, and the total increase of the general funds is $438,833. Capital expense funds, $800,000. Federal fund increase, $11,766,898, and other funds, $242,058. Yield for questions. If there are none, I move adoption of the conference report.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, Senator requests to use morning. I'm sorry, Senator Hill, you have a question. You yield, Senator Hill.
I yield for Senator Hill.
Thank you.
Senator Hill.
I think you mentioned a trooper pay raise.
That was the last bill.
Pardon?
That was the previous bill.
Okay, well, I guess maybe I can still ask the question. If they got a raise in 2019, does that mean did they get the raise this time?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, seeing no further questions. Senator requests to use this morning roll call for final passage. Does anyone object to this procedure? Does anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Please, seeing none. Oh. Not voting? Please record Senator DeBar is not voting. Record all others present by use of the morning roll call as voting aye. Conference reports adopted. Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we go to item 30 on the supplemental calendar, have the title read.
Please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2919, Appropriation Veterans Affairs Board.
Senator Hobson.
I move adoption of the conference report and ask to be recognized to explain.
You're recognized to explain.
Thank you. Veterans Affairs Board, total funding is $58,652,692, of which $5,507,083 is general funds. This includes health insurance increase of $103,410, computer increases of $11,564, ITS charges $5,464, pay plan increases $229,690, LBR cuts restore both contractual and salaries of $386,893, $250,000 of federal fund spending authority for the War Memorial Building, $952,901 federal funds for 11 new positions or pins, $60,354 federal funds for travel expenses, training events, $2 million for federal funds for nursing home renovations, primarily at Collins, and $5,181,534 for federal fund use for operating costs, including increases for COVID supplies, building repair and maintenance, and nursing staff contracts and janitorial supplies. There was one vehicle replaced of federal funds, $33,650 for a total increase to LBR of $9,215,640. No questions. I move adoption of the conference report by use of the morning roll call.
Does any senator have a question? Seeing none, the senator requests to use the morning roll call for final passage. Anyone object to this procedure? Does anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Seeing none, please record all present by use of the morning roll call as voting aye. The conference report's adopted. Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Chair. Move adoption, I'm sorry, go to
31?
Did I call it up?
Not
Employment
yet.
Security 31. Ask that we call up item 31 on the calendar and have the title read.
Please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2922, Appropriation Employment Security Department of.
Senator Hobson.
I move adoption of the conference report and ask to be recognized to explain.
You're recognized to explain.
Thank you. Total funding is $175,911,553, of which $1,400,000 is general funds. In the Department of Employment Security, we included $1.4 million for the state longitudinal data system, $3 million of special funds for the SWIB board. We restored the LBR cuts of $12,316,760 of federal funds and special funds of $107,505. We included the pay increase, $345,782, the health insurance increase, $130,680, ITS increase, $497,827, the computer increase, $5,226, the federal reclassification system included federal funding of $947,308 and $61,669 of federal funds to pay for an extra hour a week for 54 pins. And that's an explanation of the changes in the bill. Happy to yield to questions. If there are none, I move adoption of the conference report by use of the morning roll call.
Does anyone, let's see, Senator Parker, you have a question. Do you yield, Senator Parker?
I yield.
Senator
Thank you,
Parker.
Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I heard you say you did have the appropriation requested for SWIB in there. Just as an update, do you know, or could you get me the current balance in the trust fund at Employment Security now? I know we had talked last year about they had a deficit, and not a deficit, but we were happy with what that number was. I know it's not in the appropriation, but it's a number I wanted to have before we ended session.
The amount in the trust fund, I don't have that number on the worksheet. I could probably get it for you, Senator. I think it's still relatively healthy. I haven't heard anything that would.
Somewhere maybe in the 500 million range, or?
I would, that'd be my guess. I know, obviously the funds that lapsed, that weren't utilized by other state agencies and lapsed back into the unemployment trust fund back in December have plussed it up significantly. And I have no indication that it's not very healthy right now, but maybe.
I'll follow up with
Okay.
council and get the number. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll get that for you, Senator Parker. Thank you.
Are there any further questions?
No questions. I'll move adoption of the conference report by use of the morning roll call.
Senator requests to use the morning roll call for final passage. Anyone object to this procedure? Does anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Seeing none, please record all present by the use of the morning roll call as voting aye. The conference report's adopted. Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we go to item 32 on the supplemental calendar and have the title read.
Please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2923, Appropriation Revenue Department of.
Senator Hobson.
You want the worksheet? I move adoption of the conference report and ask to be recognized to explain.
You're recognized to explain.
Thank you. Department of Revenue budget includes total funding of $64,938,493. General funds are $42,095,644. This includes 1.438491 full funding for all salaries. We had reclassifications within Department of Revenue of $498,526. The increase of the Marvin Mars contractual system was $340,747, and increase in agency operational expenses, including travel costs, IT, equipment, et cetera, was $3,426,151, for a total of, hang on a second, I don't think that number is correct. Bear with me. On the wrong sheet there. The funding of total funding increases, excuse me, above LBR, $8,090,317. Let me go back through some of this. In addition to the restoration of cuts, health insurance, pay plan, et cetera, all the other things, we added 10 auditors to the Department of Revenue, and that was $633,092. The agency operational expenditures increase in general funds was $2,300,000. We included capital expense funds for critical needs out at the ABC warehouse. Also IT equipment replacements of $1,140,000 of capital expense funds, and then gave authority for the Governor's Discretionary CARES Act funds for $1,500,000. I'll yield for questions that are into the conference report by use of the morning roll call.
Are there any questions? Seeing no question, Senator requests to use the morning roll call for final passage. Anyone object to this procedure? Anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Please record all present by use of the morning roll call as voting aye. Conference report's adopted. Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we go to item 33 on the supplemental calendar and have the title read.
Please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2926, Appropriation, Mental Health Department of.
I move adoption of the conference report and ask you to recognize Senator Hill to explain.
Senator Hill, you're recognized to explain the conference report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The final action for the Department of Mental Health, $624,170.21, and state support over LBR was $447,661 for health insurance, $1,010,086 for employee pay raise, $4,530,616 restored general funds that were cut in LBR, $1 million to expand IDD, DD community service waivers, $600,000 added capital expense fund for former MDOC inmates. Total state support added over LBR was $7,588,363. The special funds over LBR was $1,053,089 for health insurance. ITS pass-throughs, $266,849. Employee pay raise, $2,223,817. restored 397 pins deleted in the LBR for $21,834,124. Special spending authority was restored for general operations, so the total special funds added over LBR was $74,426,708. If I don't have any questions, I would ask for adoption of the conference report on the morning roll call.
Senator Jordan, do you have a question?
Yes.
You yield Senator Jordan for a
Yes,
question.
of course.
Senator Jordan.
Yes, Madam Chairman, how did this compare to last year's budget? I was concerned most about an increase. Do we have it?
Yes, it's definitely an increase, a pretty substantial increase from 7.5. Last year's total, 143,199. This is 624.
You got 624 that
The increase is about $51,471.
over last year's budget?
Yes.
For mental health. All right, thank you.
Are there any further questions? Seeing no further questions, Senator requests use the morning roll call for final passage. Anyone object to this procedure? Does anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Seeing none, please record all present by the use of the morning roll call as voting aye. The conference report's adopted. Senator Hobson, number 35.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we go to item 34 on the calendar, have the title read.
34, I'm sorry. 34. Please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2928, appropriation Tennessee Tom-Bidway Development Authority.
Senator Hobson.
Move adoption of the conference report and ask that you recognize Senator Branning to explain.
Senator Branning, you're recognized to explain the conference report.
Thank you, Mr. President. In this budget, the final action is $365,234. This amount was $6,000 over the total of LBR funding, and also contained a decrease in contractual services for this agency. If there are no questions, I move final adoption. Morning roll call.
Does any senator have a question? Seeing none, senator requests use the morning roll call for final passage. Does anyone object to this procedure? Does anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Seeing none, please record all present by the use of the morning roll call as voting aye. Conference report's adopted. Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we go to item 35 on today's supplemental calendar and have the title read.
Please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2942, appropriation Agriculture and Commerce Department.
Senator Hobson.
Move adoption of the conference report and ask to be recognized to explain.
You're recognized to explain.
Thank you. This is Department of Ag and Commerce. The total funding is $22,191,877, of which $7,998,944 is general funds. The final increases over LBR are $304,954 of restoration of cuts. We did capital expense funding of $500,000 to fix up the Coliseum dressing rooms, $500,000 of general funds for operations, $100,000 of capital expense funds for ag theft equipment, $143,618 for salary increases under the conference pay plan, $54,810 for health insurance increases, $9,442 of computer charges, $8,470 for ITS, and $74,805. We moved in, everybody needs to listen to this, we've added the Ag Marketing Board into the Department of Ag budget, so we finally hatched the plan, and it's, we've given birth to a change, so no more Ag Marketing Board for a separate budget. It's maybe the highlight of the night. Total increase is $1,732,099. I move adoption of the conference report by use of the morning roll call.
Okay, are there any questions? Senator requests use the morning roll call for final passage. Anyone object to this
Feeling
procedure?
real proud now, Mr. President.
Please, see no objection. Please record all, anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Please record all present by the use of the morning roll call as voting aye. Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we go to item 36 on the supplemental calendar and have the title read.
Please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2944, appropriation Animal Health Board.
Senator Hobson.
I move adoption of the conference report and ask to be recognized to explain.
You're recognized to explain.
Thank you, Mr. President. The total funding for the Board of Animal Health is $2,361,172, of which $1,299,501 is general funds. This includes the restoration of cuts, $169,473. The pay plan increases $18,773. Health insurance, $6,750. $55 for contractual services, $48,741 for funding for vehicles, and $250,000 for agency operations and disease control, for a total of $493,792. I'll yield for questions. If there are none, I move adoption of the conference report by use of the roll call.
Are there any questions? Seeing no questions, the Senator requests use this morning roll call for final passage. Anyone object to this procedure? Anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Seeing none, please record all present by the use of morning roll calls voting aye. The conference report is adopted. Senator Hobson.
Ask that we go to item 37 on to today's supplemental calendar and have the title read.
Please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2948, Appropriation, Finance, and Administration Department of.
Senator Hobson.
Move adoption of the conference report and ask to be recognized to explain.
You're recognized to explain the conference report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Total funding for DFA is $133,103,290. That includes $34,347,303 of general funds. We included in the DFA budget $450,518 of restoring funding for salaries out of general funds, $500,000 out of general funds for operations, $252,083 for the conference pay plan, $81,000 for health insurance, $450,000 for contractual services for mental health coordinator and 3 staff. That's the mental health czar and his staff. $650,000 of general fund increase for lost revenue to surplus property due to COVID. We offset that general fund increase with a special fund decrease of the same amount. Funding increase for the ITS is $962,590. Special funds for the MMRS charge is $5,229. With the transfer, as I mentioned earlier, the transfer of Capitol Police of general funds, there was a reduction in the budget of $6,400,200. There was a $100,000 special fund transfer of authority to for Capitol Police program, $10 million for the Governor's Discretionary CARES Act fund, and $39,785 for out of the capital expense fund for the Bureau of Projects, including repair and renovation. This also included the language, but it's part of 39. What? Okay. Included in the special fund or the capital expense fund authority were 2 projects, 10 million. I say 2 projects, but it's purchase of land, the attempt to purchase some land down near the fairgrounds complex to include clean up an area down there to remove and demolish some buildings, and also funding for the potential to replace the state airplane. We've got a airplane that's about 30 years old. It's got significant problems. We have had, in talking to the maintenance people, I think he said 3 times, the service now is about 3 times what it should be for a newer model. They have to take it to Illinois every time they maintain it, and it's roughly running, I think, 48 days or so every time, and it's down. So This is going to give the authority to DFA to look at possibly replacing the old plane with something newer for the state because of the significant problems and safety concerns that they've had. That's an explanation of the bill. I'll be happy to yield for questions and a conference report. If there are none, I move adoption of the conference report by use of the morning roll call.
Are there any questions? Seeing no questions, Senator requests use the morning roll call for final passage. Anyone object to this procedure? Anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Seeing none, please record all present by the use of the morning roll call as voting aye. The conference report has been adopted. Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask we go to item 38 on today's calendar and have the title read.
Please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2949, appropriation governor's office and mansion.
I move adoption of the conference report and ask to be recognized to explain.
You're recognized to explain.
This is the governor's office and mansion. The total funding is $3,322,214. General fund support is $2,657,214. This includes the restoration of salaries that were cut through LBR. It includes the conference pay plan, $34,257, health insurance, $12,420, ITS fees of $1,555, operating expenses of $25,832, and restoration of contractual cuts of $50,468 for a total increase over LBR of $138,643. Happy to yield to questions. If there are none, I move adoption of the conference report by use of the morning roll call.
Are there any questions? Seeing no questions, Senator requests use the morning roll call for final passage. Does anyone object to this procedure? Does anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Seeing none, please record all present by the use of the morning roll call as voting aye. Conference report's adopted. Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. This, as we move to item 39 on today's calendar and have the title read.
Please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2951, appropriation development authority, Mississippi.
Senator Hobson.
I move adoption of the conference report and ask to be recognized to explain.
You're recognized to explain.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Mississippi Development Authority budget is $167,709,198, of which $21,620,702 is general funds. This includes restoration of LBR cuts, $2,825,337, $504,000 of that's general funds, $1,150,000 for marketing and economic development, $150,000 of the increase for Innovate Mississippi, $192,645 for the pay plan increase, health insurance increase of $58,590, the MMRS charge of $91,279, ITS charges $31,889, $50,000 for the Mississippi Book Festival, $400,000 for the Skills Foundation. Those two are capital expense funds, by the way. The GCRF funding is $52,793,000, and the Site Development Grant Program, which is capital expense funds given to MDA to help develop, get several sites around the state shovel-ready for development, and that's $10 million for a total increase of $67,742,740. And the list of the projects, I mentioned the GCRF projects, those are included in the bill. I think most of you, well, I know anybody that's in those 6 counties knows what those projects are. I mean, I'll be happy to go through those projects, but they are included in the conference report. And we reappropriated the projects that were started last year that have not been fully funded. And that's an explanation of the conference report, Mr. President.
Questions? Seeing none, we're ready for motion, Senator.
Motion is to adopt the conference report by use of the morning roll call.
This morning roll call has been requested. Anyone object to the procedure? Wish to be recorded as voting no? Present. Present. Carter. Present. Moran. Carter and Moran. Anyone else? Anyone else? Seeing none, bill passes with 2 exceptions, Mr. Clerk. You're recognized, Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we go to item 40 on the supplemental calendar and have the title read.
Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2953, appropriations, Secretary of State.
Move adoption of the conference report and ask to be recognized to explain.
You're recognized to explain, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President. Total amount of funding for Secretary of State is $27,810,327. That's all general funds, I'm sorry, $12,137,258 is general fund support. This includes restoration of pins and salary funding to the the FY21 level, $765,295 of general funds. The pay plan increase is $77,255. Health insurance increase $24,570. Computer fees $2,799, and contractual special fund authority for deferred title lands payment of $655,700 for a total increase of $1,525,619 over LBR. Are there questions? If there are none, I move adoption of the conference report by use of the morning roll call.
Questions on the bill? Seeing none, senators move for adoption by use of the morning roll call. Anyone object to the procedure? Wish to be recorded as voting no? Present? Seeing none, bill passes. 41, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask that we go to item 41 on today's supplemental calendar and have the title read.
Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2955, appropriation debt service, general obligation.
Move adoption of the conference report and ask to be recognized to explain.
You're recognized to explain, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is our annual debt payment, and I think Senator Harkins will talk about our debt in a little while when he takes up the revenue, the bond bill. But the total amount of money being paid this year on debt service, general funds, is $438,569,629. And that's an explanation of the bill, conference report, and this includes also the bank service charge of $500,000 for the treasurer's office. And that's an explanation of the conference report. Yield for questions. If there are none, I move adoption by use of the morning roll call. And if there are questions, I'm going to defer to Senator Harkins.
Questions? Seeing none, senators move for use of the morning roll call. Anyone object to the procedure? Wish to be recorded as voting no? Present? Seeing none, bill passes. Use of the morning roll call. 42.
Could I have your indulgence just one moment, Mr. President?
One moment, please.
Mr. President, I ask we go to item 42 on the supplemental calendar and have the title read.
Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2956, appropriations, additional appropriations for various state agencies.
I move adoption of the conference report and ask to be recognized to explain.
You're recognized to explain, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the bill earlier when we accidentally had the House bill up for us. This is the Senate version of it. This bill includes the same language that we passed yesterday. My days are running together. I think that was yesterday. But we made the technical corrections on line 35 in the bill. The money that was supposed to go for the lawsuit, the environmental lawsuit, environmental management plus lawsuit in Hinds County, was mistakenly listed at $31,499. It should have been $31,449. The other change was on line 85 of the bill, which dealt with the, sorry, it's not line 85. There was a change from 35,000 to 5,000, which was a typographical error, and I'm trying to find where that is, Mr. President. You know where that is? My apologies, Mr. President. The other one was corrected. The only change is the one I mentioned, and that is changing $31,499 to $31,449. Everything else is what we discussed on this bill. I will yield for questions if there are none. I move adoption of the conference report by use of the morning roll call.
Questions? Seeing none, the Senate has moved for adoption by use of the morning roll call. Anyone object to the procedure? Wish to be recorded as voting no? Present? President Hill? Present, anyone else? Anyone else? Seeing none, the bill passes with the exception noted.
Mr. President, if I may go back on one bill, just for clarification, for the sake of the members, to explain the DFA, something I was looking for earlier that I had overlooked, and I want to go ahead and, if I could.
You're recognized to explain.
Thank you. Just read this out. Certainly, each of you is entitled to look at the conference report. I left out, I didn't have this listed on the budget worksheets, and I apologize, but as most of you know, we have a capital expense as part of our capital expenditures as part of our DFA bill, and I wanted to go through those just so you know the items that were included in the capital expense sector, and that includes a program for the community service inmate program in Hattiesburg for $125,000, Heidelberg paving streets on Magnolia Street and East Poplar Street for $100,000, $1.2 million for Marshall County, costs associated with improvements to Behringer Road. There was $400,000 for the city of Byram in paying the cost for flood control projects. Hines County would receive $150,000 for the DA's office to assist with additional costs to help with the backlog of cases they have. City of Shannon, or this may need to be corrected through an amendment at some point, because I don't know if it technically goes there. And I will have I think some small amendments to bring for you tomorrow, hopefully, but it's $400,000 for construction and improvements to the community center. The windows of Amory, $200,000. Hazelhurst, signs, safety signs that they have, $75,000. Rankin County flood control district projects, $2 million. Winona for replacement of the historic clock tower, $100,000. Leakesville, $500,000 for infrastructure upgrades. Jackson County Economic Development Foundation infrastructure upgrades of $500,000. Sumrall, phase 2 of a sportsplex, $600,000. Rankin County improvements related to Andrew Chapel Road, $1 million. Brandon downtown revitalization program, $1.25 million. Pearl River Valley Water Supply District for dredging, $500,000. Improvements to Gunter Road in Rankin County, $750,000. Picayune Police Station repairs, $500,000. Vicksburg, the Levy Street Road project, $5 million. Hines Community College, the Maritime Training Center, $1 million. Warren County Port Commission Environmental Study, $325,000. Mississippi State University improvements and construction of the kinesiology building, $5 million. City of Marks renovations to the City Hall, $300,000. Scuba costs associated with renovation of a town and community college baseball field, $30,000. Perry County costs associated with extension of natural gas line, $1 million. LaFleur County costs associated with the construction of the Emmett Till Monument, $150,000. City of Pearl costs associated with the intermodal connector, $2 million. City of Forest paving infrastructure, $300,000. Newton County paving the entrance to the Mississippi State Veterans Cemetery, $150,000. City of Hernando repairs to streets, $250,000. Sand Creek Wastewater Authority construction of a new wastewater facility, $1 million. Lee County land acquisition, Richmond Volunteer Fire Department, $50,000. City of Madison construction of a road to the Madison City Center, $500,000. South Haven repairs to streets, $350,000. Farmington associated with police station upgrades, $150,000. Purvis, costs associated with construction of a new city hall, $700,000. City of Greenville, downtown park improvements, $500,000. University of Southern Mississippi, Ocean Enterprise, $2,500,000. Chickasaw County, costs associated with renovations of the courthouse, $350,000. Lauderdale County, construction of the Long Creek Reservoir Dam, reconstruction that is, $300,000. Rolling Fork, costs associated with the Civic and Event Center improvements, $200,000. Yazoo County, costs associated with the Health Department, $100,000. Pasquishan, costs associated with the Downtown Redevelopment Initiative, $500,000. Holly Springs, repair of Cuba Street and Hill Street, $600,000. Magnolia, costs associated with infrastructure upgrades, $250,000. Help for DFA to pay the cost of LaFleur's Bluff Master Plan, $100,000. Town of Lula Park, cost associated with park improvements, $75,000. The Cairo Volunteer Fire Department in Prentice County, $100,000. Centerville, paying repair upgrades to town's electrical system and related infrastructure, $25,000. Scuba, Mississippi, I think that one actually was covered, $50,000 for athletic fields and related facilities. Nanawaya, $50,000 for a water tank improvement. Digital printing machine, Neshoba County Sheriff's Department, $30,000. The Tibby Development Community Center in West Point, $50,000. Mathiston construction, repair, renovation upgrades to the town's sports park, $50,000. The VFW building in the town of Eupora, $25,000. Veterans Park in the town of Ashland, $50,000. Macomb for purchase of a fire truck, $250,000. Ross Barnett dredging fund, $200,000. I think that's a correction also. Ellisville, the cost associated with the purchase of a fire truck, $150,000. $75,000 for Blue Mountain, purchase of equipment for the fire department. Walnut, Mississippi, town's fire department, purchase equipment, $75,000. Dumas, Mississippi, $50,000. Faulkner, Mississippi, $75,000. Tippah County, $25,000 for the Gravestown Volunteer Fire Department. The Mitchell Volunteer Fire Department, Tippah County, $25,000. And Spout Springs Volunteer Fire Department, $25,000. Three Forks Volunteer Fire Department, $25,000. $25,000 for Tippah County Volunteer Fire Department. Ripley Main Street projects, $50,000. Ripley Arts Council, $25,000. Wheeler Volunteer Fire Department, $100,000. $100,000 for the Mississippi Crafts Center. The Grammy Museum, matching funds for infrastructure related purposes, $2.5 million. Edwards Volunteer Fire Department, $100,000. Sardis maintenance and upkeep of streets, $150,000. Town of Como, $150,000. Emergency assistance for non-public schools program, $1 million. City of Jackson improvements at the fuel water treatment plant, corrosion control plant generator and filter replacement, $3 million. Kipling Water Association, creating a running water line from Mitch Mosley to provide adequate water to residents, $300,000. Fannie Lou Hamer Cancer Center in Louisville, $1.5 million. Ocean Springs sidewalks, $1 million. Facility High School, $500,000. $500,000 for the Mary O'Keefe Cultural Center in Ocean Springs, $1 million for the Town Commons in Goshen. I mentioned already the fairgrounds land purchase and the aircraft purchase, the roof repair replacement, the VFW in Eupora, Mississippi, $25,000. Ballpark in Mathiston, Mississippi, $50,000. Wildlife, Fisheries and Parks, $3.5 million. And I mentioned that in that budget. The George County intersection upgrades at Highway 98 and Old Highway 63, $400,000. Jones County Industrial Park, $913,000. And then DFA, there's a list of projects with DFA that includes space optimization, capital improvements, Ladner building renovations, statewide critical repairs. That's a $5 million catch-all war memorial, $5 million Capitol Complex, $2 million, National Guard, $5 million, Department of Health, $6 million, School for the Blind and Deaf, $1 million, Department of Health, Clean Water Act, I think there's matching funds in that, $3.2 million, School for the Arts, $1 million, School for Math and Science, $1 million, a fire truck for the mega site in Madison County. I think that's connected with the new Amazon warehouse. City of Canton for flood control projects, $250,000. Issaquena road improvements and maintenance, $150,000. Those are individual items. I'm sorry, Mr. President, I left those out earlier. They were included in the capital expense fund number, but I didn't list the projects, and I wanted to make sure I listed those projects that were part of this bill.
Thank you, Senator. Any other bills? Senator Hobson, are you done there? I think we're through your entire calendar. On supplemental calendar, we'll go to Senator Hobson. Senator Harkins. Thank you, Senator Hobson. Appreciate you and Corbin's hard work.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let me get my... Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to go to item 88 on today's, suspend the rules, go to item 88 for the immediate consideration. Senate Bill number 2971.
Motion is suspend the rules, go to item 88 for immediate consideration. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Please proceed, Senator.
I'd like to go to item number 88, Senate Bill number 2971, and have the title read.
Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2971, bonds, authorized issuance for state institutions of higher learning.
My motion is we adopt the committee report and be recognized to explain it.
You're recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the bond bill that we've been working on, and I first want to kind of give a little background. Senator Hobson kind of referenced the debt, and I want to give you an update of what we're paying off this year. We are paying off a total of $293,305,000 in principal. Our debt limit, currently our statutory debt limit is $13,922,000,000. So we're roughly, our debt that we have outstanding is about 30% of what our statutory limit is. I'm going to first go over, I think they're handing out right now a list of all of the bond projects, and I'm going to go over some of the information in it, and I will make a unanimous consent request to change a couple of things. We worked pretty diligently and hard over the last couple of days, and no fault of the staff. We had a lot of stuff trying to fit in, and there's a couple of corrections we need to make. So I will ask for unanimous consent, and I will explain the bond bill first and then go back and make the unanimous consent request. First off, our IHL is requesting $86,375,000. This is part of a 4-year bond request that we have worked out with IHL. The total after 4 years is about $304 million on the total request. Obviously, some people are getting projects front-loaded. Some are going to get them on the back end, and some are getting them kind of equally spread out over the 4 years. But this year, the total request for IHL is $86,375,000. Next is community colleges. Our community college, the total request is $35 million. This too is on a allocation basis. Half of it is evenly, and half of it is on FTE enrollment. And so that is where we got the number for the junior college request. State agencies, we have Mississippi Department of Mental Health has about $5,250,000 requested in the bond bill. And some of these projects include Mississippi State Hospital. Looks like they got about $1.5 million. The Ellisville State School has $750,000. Hudspeth Beechwood Building, $1.5 million. The Hudspeth Cottage renovation, $750,000. And the South Mississippi Regional Campus roof, $750,000. That takes care of Mississippi Department of Mental Health. We have a total of, we have some repurposing language for IHL on their R&D center, repurposing from a bond bill last year at 2020. Section 5 is the Chickasaw Heritage Center in Tupelo, $3 million. Section 6 is the Mississippi Community Heritage Preservation Grant Fund with the Mississippi Department of Archives and History for $5 million. Section 7 is conforming language to Section 6. There is a site development grant fund for $3 million in MDA, and I believe Senator Hobson talked about the $10 million site fund earlier, but this is the normal course of events on the site plan. This is to help work with locals to get sites shovel-ready for projects that may be in the market. The next MDA is the ACE fund. This is the $20 million item. Section 11 is the Development Infrastructure Program, DIP program, that's $10 million. Section 12 is conforming Section 11. Section 13, the Economic Development Highway Fund is $8 million. Section 14, Mississippi Industry Incentive Financing Revolving Fund is $36 million. And that's normally a $10 million ask. We do have a potential economic development project that is working right now. We hope to make an announcement, and hopefully we'll get to the conclusion on it pretty soon, but it is about a $26 million request that normally we would do in a special session, but this is going to be included in the industry incentive fund. If it is not used, it will lapse into the general fund and we can repurpose it next year, but that is why that number is higher than normal. 15 is a $300,000 request for NA Sanford Bridge Road in Lawrence County. The next is Chickasaw Trail Emergency Response Center in Marshall County for $2 million. Concourse Workforce Training Center in Batesville, $2 million. Longleaf Trace, $500,000. East Metro Corridor Project, $1 million. US 49 Frontage Road in Yazoo County is $1,300,000. Commerce Park Connector Project in City of Ridgeland, it's $2 million. Yellow Creek Port Medical Clinic, $750,000. Prince County Bridge Replacement, $650,000. West Point Street Paving, $500,000. And Manufacturer Drive Extension in Lowndes County, $1 million. Neshoba County Road 210 Bridge Repair, $500,000. Starkville Hospital Road, $1 million. This will be one of the items on the unanimous consent request. Mississippi Industry Incentive Financing Revolving Fund. This is a House MDA allocation for $3 million to conform to House Bill 1230. George County Rail Connector Project. This is exempting them from certain MDA criteria to receive funding from Gulf Coast Restoration Fund. Section 30, the incentive program is for any entity reviewed by DOR for eligibility. The entity may employ a qualified accountant to perform third-party review instead of Department of Revenue for purposes of determining eligibility. Section 31 is the Children's Promise Act. What this section does is it increases the tax credit from to $16 million. Half of it goes to foster care organizations. The other half goes to eligible charitable organizations. A portion of it is set aside for a special purpose school next year. It does allow for the ad valorem tax to be allowed for a credit, but the state does reimburse the county, so there is no loss of revenue to the school district. And there is some language that will be involved in the unanimous consent request that I'll address at the end of the explanation. The Children's Museum, Science Museum is $2,500,000. Indianola street improvements, $500,000. And these are starting to get into the house projects that are you see on your list, and there are a lot of numerous ones, and I'll let y'all run through there. And if you have a question on any, I'll be happy to answer them, but these are the house projects that were added to the bond bill. So the total amount of the bond bill is about $298,395,000. That does include the special one-time $26 million extra ask for the industry incentive fund. So we are definitely outside of that. We're staying underneath the amount that we pay off the prior year. So that is kind of an explanation of the bond bill. And if I may, Mr. President, I want to provide you, I think y'all have been provided the unanimous consent request to your desk, and I'll go over this. The unanimous consent of the House and Senate is request the following changes to the conference report on Senate Bill 2971. On line 4400, insert assist after the following. The City of Ridgeland, Mississippi, and on line 4404, delete in Madison County, Mississippi, and amend the title to conform to lines 69 and 73. On line 5608, change City of Starkville Hospital Road and Stark Road extension to Octavia County Octok Road improvements. On lines 5618 through 5620, delete the language starting with city up to the period and insert in lieu thereof the following: the Board of Supervisors of Octavia County, Mississippi, and paying such costs associated with repairs, resurfacing, upgrading, improvements to Octok Road, and amend title to conform those lines on 92 through 94. On lines 5790, insert after the last comma as amended by House Bill 1230, 2021 regular session, and amend title to conform on line 95. On lines 5795, 5799, 5804, 5813, insert after state the following, include any federal Indian reservation located within the geographical boundary of this state. On lines 5811, insert after the comma following, including any federal Indian reservation located within the geographical boundary of this state. Next is delete lines 6,075 through 6,078, delete 1 on line 6,060, and revert technical changes on lines 6,068, 6,061, and 6,064. Amend the title to conform by deleting the language beginning with "to expand" on line 120 and the semicolon on line 123. On lines 7815, 7824, 7826, change Bruce to Vardaman and amend title to conform to line 172. On lines 8009, 8018, 8020, change Bruce to Calhoun City and amend title to conform on line 176. On line 8801, insert in paying costs associated with after to assist and amend title on line 188 by deleting Jackson County, Mississippi. On line 11,541, insert before the period the following with no more than $100,000 being used for North Gate Park and no more than $50,000 being used for Lake Hyco Park. On line 12,500, insert fund after Bozeman Road. On line 12,509, insert after assist the following, the Board of Supervisors of, and on lines 12,510 and 12,511, delete in Madison County, insert in lieu thereof the following, beginning at its intersection with Mississippi Highway 463 and proceeding north, and amend the title to conform on lines 258 and 259. On line 14,435, insert after Mississippi the following, in Choctaw County, Mississippi, and amend the title on line 298 to conform. And on line 14,437, insert after Webster the word county and amend the title on line 300 to conform. On line 18,712, insert space between Hooper and Mill. And on lines 22,851 and 22,852, delete $500,000 and insert in lieu thereof the following $1 million. And so that is an explanation on the Children's Promise Act. There was language in there about MAIS that was somewhat confusing and kind of problematic right now. We haven't had time to really thoroughly look into that issue. So that section has been removed from the Children's Promise Act. So that is my request for unanimous consent, Mr. President.
Seeking unanimous consent. Seeing no objection is granted.
Thank you. And if there are no questions, I move passage on the
Questions?
morning roll call.
Questions? It's this morning, yes, sir. I know it's a long way off, but it is this morning. Any questions? Any questions? Seeing none, ready for your motion, Senator.
Motion is we adopt the conference report on the morning roll call.
Senator's made motion to adopt on the morning roll call. Anyone object to the procedure? Anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? No. No. Carter. No. Anyone else? Hill. No. Anyone else?
No.
Anyone else? Seeing none, we have two. We had two noes, Mr. Clerk. Other than that, bill passes by use of the morning roll call. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I want to thank the staff and the attorneys for all their hard work on this. Was not a bill to get together here at the last minute, and I want to thank my colleagues for their indulgence over the past couple weeks, given what I'm going through personally, and I want to tell you how much I appreciate y'all's patience and your trust, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Harkins. Good job. We appreciate it. All right, back on the calendar. Back on the calendar. Anyone have anything to bring up on the calendar? On the calendar. Announcements? Any announcements? Any announcements? Senator Blackwell, you'll need to get to your microphone. Any announcements? Seeing none, I want to thank Senator Harkins and Senator Briggs Hobson for all their hard work, many, many nights and days, the last 5 days particularly, after midnight almost every night, staff as well. Outstanding job. Okay, Senator Blackwell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate stand adjourned until 10 a.m. tomorrow.
10 a.m. tomorrow. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. We stand adjourned.